welcome to... Oh, did that work? I'm just going to have to edit it. I'm just going to edit it. It's just going to have to be edited. That's life. That's life. Or I could start here. Welcome to How to Be Friends with Dave and Shawn. Hi, Shawn.
Hi, Dave. Brendan Fraser is a fucking delight. How dare you? Listen,
God.
let me...
So...
You know what? No, you fucking stop. Listen. How fucking dare you? This man has been through a lot. He's been through a divorce. He's been through a sexual assault. I understand you don't like the show he's in right now, but he is fucking wonderful and he should be given the goddamn credit he fucking deserves.
Okay. So now that anyone with children who's listening have a lot to explain, it's good to see you, Shawn. Tell me how you really feel about Brendan Fraser. Okay. I'm actually going to one-up you because I insist on pronouncing his name correctly.
Okay.
Because he was on The Daily Show way back in the day when he still had a career and a six-pack, and George the Jungle and everything is on The Daily Show. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Brendan Fraser. If you say Fraser, I know where you live." And it was kind of wonderful. So
that's good.
Sorry, I like Brendan Fraser better than you do. That's I defend his name. Like how the late Michael Clark Duncan reportedly gave $20 to anyone who met him on the street and remembered his full name first try. I don't blame him. Michael Clark Duncan, obviously hard to belt out.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Cool.
His name is Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, and he had $20 to spare, so he was all right.
Well, yeah, I would think so. What are we doing this week, Dave?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so friends of Shawn and Dave out there, I'm afraid I have to come clean. That unfortunately I have to admit my vicious racism. And I have to, I'm sorry, I have to come out and state clearly that there is a certain group that I have to admit to myself I can't trust. If I were in a position of power, if this podcast were to explode, and we had to hire people, and this particular group applied for the job, I would immediately distrust them and be prone to not provide it.
The Ferengi.
Close. Robots. I don't trust robots.
Okay. All right.
When Tesla robots start driving all over the road, I have plans to deliberately troll them. I have no love for them. And they're not the cool robots like we expected. They're not the cool robots that can hang with Will Smith. They're creepy vacuums on the floor, finding their way around your underwear. It's not appropriate.
Okay. So here's my question then. It is okay.
Yeah.
When do robots become a race?
I guess when they start reproducing, when it becomes Skynet.
Okay, so
yeah,
like self-reproducing nanobots.
Yeah, so I guess the robots that I don't trust don't really exist yet as a race. But yeah, okay. So
you're not racist.
But I mean, I am though, because robots.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I had to come clean about this. This is
okay. Data from Star Trek.
I wouldn't trust him. Would not
really?
Trust him. No,
really?
Sorry, because he's zeros and ones, and so he will, whatever he is set to do, he will do it with the most vicious clinical accuracy he possibly can.
So what you're telling me is that if you enlisted in Starfleet,
yes,
as an E6,
sure,
you wouldn't follow the orders of your commanding officer if it was Data.
No. Yes, I mean, because you have to, but I mean, for those who don't know, I did get accepted into nursing school again, which is really awesome. So in this scenario, I would just finish out nursing school, get more rank than him, and then just tell him to blow off.
Yeah, because Yeah, well, I mean, what was his rank
Yeah,
at
and
TNG?
Chief Petty Ensign Rear uh yellow shirt.
So like barely Butterbar?
No. Okay, and see that's I'm glad you brought that up. I trust Data more than I trust Butterbars.
Okay, you know what? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hey, remember that time we lost Butterbars? We had to call control, range control, and let
I
them
don't
know that there were
I
two
don't
lieutenants out in the field?
I don't remember that specific time because I'm sure it's happened a lot of times.
Yeah, that was really freaking annoying. Anyways, so you don't
Mm.
trust. So you're a basist.
I yeah, not a roboticist. I could see how there's confusion. A robacist, yes.
Okay. Hey, just to let everybody know, I don't know how many minutes we are in now. 6 minutes. I've had about a bottle of white wine, so this stuff might go sideways. Just
Meanwhile, I
keeping
just
you in the loop.
no, and in addition, I started martial arts again this week for like the ninth or 10th
Yeah,
time
but
in my
what
life.
martial art?
It's okay. It's a combination of many things. I don't want to
Which is not a
honest.
martial art.
Thank you. It's MMA without being MMA. It's a family thing,
Is
okay?
there a
But
belt system?
there,
Like,
of course, there's a belt system because, okay, you, uh, yes, I get the whole nobody wants a roundhouse kick to the face when I'm wearing a pair of these. Okay, I get the whole grab my hand, the other hand, my other hand. I get all of this. I understand, but it's great for the kids. And I also spent an hour just hanging out with sweaty people who are very serious about it.
so I just want to clarify when you say it's MMA adjacent.
No, 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 no. Because there's no purist martial art out there anymore. So by calling it MMA, I'm calling it it's they advertise jujitsu, kung fu, taekwondo, karate.
So which one is it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's
All right.
yeah. Okay.
So most martial arts that are out there now.
Yeah. So
Got it.
I mean it's a thing. I'm just all chewed up. But anyway, that you're drunk and I might be a little punch drunk. I don't know.
I
So
am
it's
I
like
am buzzed and you're exhausted. Yes.
yeah, it's all good. Okay, I got to jump in with this real quick
Okay.
because it's flippin' awesome and I don't have it in our list.
Okay.
As of today, I think it was reported in multiple news sources. There is a nun in France tested positive for coronavirus right before her 117th birthday. Now, all you had to do is Google nun France coronavirus 116 or 117. She'll come up, and she has a look on her face of a woman who has no functioning physical systems anymore.
Yeah, I would assume at this point she's like 2 stages above dust.
Well, I think that's why coronavirus didn't affect her. Diseases have to have moisture.
That is true. Also, God is her husband, so I'm assuming he pulled some strings. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if she divorces him, does she get have his stuff? I don't
Oh
know if,
God, that's a good question.
ooh, like okay, but is it half of the church's stuff? Because even in that case, that's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff.
I'm not down
I
in that
guess it
one.
depends on the sect. I don't
You
know.
know,
Does
to
she
my
have to? Oh, go ahead.
to my Catholic friends that may or may not be listening to this, it's cool. Don't worry. I know it doesn't actually work like that, but it'd be nice if they got paid a little more.
She made it to 117 because obviously she has some good habits. That's
Ah, because they were. Oh my god.
yeah. And apparently they can fly with them. I don't know.
Okay, now we really do have a lot of wonderful things in
Do we?
this. I did have a particular question before I get too far.
Yes.
Uh, I have to shout out to our sponsor, the Amazing Disappearing Man. Now, in this particular case, you and I have been deliberately hard on fat people. Okay, sorry. Yes. Not sorry.
Yes.
So this shout out, the amazing disappearing man, who he shall be known as, will know this when I mention the fact that this person went from, I think, a peak of like 380 pounds down to 214 pounds in a couple of years, which is great. You don't want to lose weight too fast. So, shout out to sponsoring and motivation to the amazing disappearing man. I'm particularly proud of you. And I'm not okay. Shawn, we're calling you 6'3", right?
Yes.
And what, 260-ish?
I think so. We were supposed to do weigh-ins actually before the podcast, but we forgot to do that. Yeah.
That's okay. The point of it is, I am 5'7" and 170-ish pounds. I think we've mentioned this before. So to try to imagine the change of that, this person is about my same frame, okay? But what's 175 off of 380?
Yeah, I mean that's huge.
That's an incredible change.
That's an incredible weight loss. Yes, congratulations, sir.
And anyone,
because I asked about you last week, and I was told that you had made a very, very good change in your life, and I'm very proud of you.
And after health problems and all sorts of things. So, cheers.
Yes, indeed. Cheers. I don't have anything to drink. I'm sorry.
You already took care of that.
No, I'm good. Wink,
okay.
wink.
Nod. All right. So I added to the notes some wonderful, motivating quotes. Did you happen to see any of those?
I read some of these, and they made me laugh quite a bit.
I want, again, okay, so I've heard some people provide some wonderful criticism to say that this is a show about how to be friends, but we never actually talk about how to be friends.
Which is true, we don't.
Because we're trying to set an example.
Yes, exactly.
Of how you just muck around and have fun. And so this is an example of that. If you find something awesome, other than a meme, share it with your friends. We all share memes all the time. But like, hey, here's this great quote from, in this case, Wilson Misner, someone who I've never heard about, but I've heard the famous quote, "Be nice to people on the way up because you'll meet the same people on the way down." He's famous for that quote. He's a playwright and so forth. So I found this list of famous last words, famous people saying their very last things. And I picked 3 choice ones just for you and our lovely growing audience. Thank you, everyone, by the way. In his dying moments, Misner was visited by a priest who said, "I'm sure you want to talk to me." And his response, "Why should I talk to you? I've just been talking to your boss."
Which is flippin' fantastic. I'm sorry. That is wonderful.
I don't know what his religious predilection is, but it immediately made him not the most important person in the room.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is important.
That was wonderful.
Okay. If you don't know, famous actor and comedian W.C. Fields. He was a drunk but a very funny person. Once quoted in saying that he never touched water; it'd rust his pipes.
Water? No. Why would I ever touch this stuff? Fish fucking it.
He died in 1946. His last words, "God damn the whole," I'm going to cuss to get it right. "God damn the whole fucking world and everyone in it but you, Carlotta," who was apparently his mistress.
Which, if you can make it into somebody's last words as a mistress, means you're
winning it at
your
something.
game, your
particular skill set.
Your below the equator game was on point. Congratulations.
Or combination above equator with below equator properties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's good job, Carlotta.
But the one who took the cake for me, convicted murderer Thomas J. Grasso. I don't know who he is, what he did. I'm not condoning any actions of any murderer. If we talk about a person, that doesn't mean you're condoning anything. as they were about to execute him and was given his opportunity to say his last words, stated, quote, "I did not get my Spaghettios. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this."
I'll tell you who he murdered. The fucking warden. Slap!
No,
Can
okay,
you
but
imagine being
you
told
have
by a convicted murderer? Oh my god. That's
it's
beautiful.
he asked for, okay, again, I don't care what you did. If you want a McRib sandwich and a Shamrock Shake for your last meal, find a way to get a McRib sandwich and a Shamrock Shake. That's your last meal. That's your right. That's what separates us from. That's part of
It
civilization.
separates us from the savages. When we take your life from you, at least we give you chicken nuggets.
Right. But in this particular case, this man took that golden ticket and asked for a can of Spaghettios and didn't get it. And then he was so incensed by this when given the opportunity for his final statement to the world, it was to call that out.
Which I can't imagine because he must have come to in whatever afterlife he believed in. And been like, can you believe those guys? Spaghetti. What the fuck?
It's not the same thing. And
It's really not. No.
Don't. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Jesus.
So I would also like to take a minute to talk about the principle of saving people's lives.
It's overrated, but okay, continue.
Okay, so you and I have both been in positions to be able to do this.
Yes.
This if you work in healthcare, it's gonna happen. Yeah, and it falls into two categories. Okay, I'm putting this in two categories. Category A, family or surviving person. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Here's an Amazon gift card. No, don't need that. Just doing my job.
Okay.
Right? It's not a Wookiee life debt. It's not, it's a hearty thank you, and yeah, it's my job.
Right.
Or what has recently happened, what continues to happen. What? I'm okay. Go screw yourself.
Yeah. People don't. I don't know.
So yeah. This specific scenario in this case is what happens a great deal. For those of you who don't know, I work in dialysis, which sucks. If you don't know what it is, good. If you do know what it is, I hope that neither you nor anyone you love is ever involved with it.
I was going to
But
say, if you do know what it is, either you work in it or you need it.
exactly.
Either way, that sucks. I'm sorry.
So we have, of course, patients sitting in chairs for, we'll call an average of 4 hours per treatment, getting their blood cleaned. And it's rough. And we tell them when they come in, we hand them a piece of paper that says, if you eat on treatment, which we don't recommend, your blood pressure can go down. You can have complications. You can choke and potentially die. So guess what almost happened?
I'm assuming one of your patients almost choked to death.
Which the point of this is, okay, for any of you who do want to save a life, do not complicate this matter. Okay, we go through, if you get a chance to take a CPR course, take it. If you learn how to do abdominal thrusts, learn how to do abdominal thrusts. But when the situation arises, stay calm and just do the obvious thing, which was we found a patient unresponsive. I was called over. This other medical technician was doing exactly what she could do when she couldn't tell why this patient was unresponsive. I look at him, and he's got a half-eaten lunch in front of him, and his eyes are rolled up in his head. And I just come up and just on his chest. Not like right on the sternum, because he was sitting there. Not some abdominal thrust fancy thing. Just right on the chest. And he goes, "Bleh," and he just starts coughing a lot, and that's where I got that. What? I'm fine. All right. I'm going to go screw off over here
Right.
while you enjoy the next however many years you get.
Also, don't eat while you're in a reclined position. How stupid are you?
I mean, we've lost patients like that before. I think I've told you. We had a patient who The fancy medical term is aspirating. We had a patient who aspirated on corn nuts, which...
Yeah, the fancy medical term is chew your food, you cow.
Right. Well, that was the problem. He just inhaled the gluteny corn nut mass, and it became cement in his airway. Done. There was no saving him.
Oh, that's dark. I love it.
Incidentally, small world, I don't even know what the level of paramedics are, but the top level paramedics that started responding after this was hard south was one of the former sergeants that we had served with, Schaefer or something like that. It was
no joke.
No joke. Small world. I was almost like, hey, dude, I remember you, but he had bigger fish to fry.
Like trying to suction out somebody's throat.
Yeah. It didn't go well. Did not go well. So.
Yeah.
I'm here to say, corn nuts, I would love you as a sponsor. You're delicious and crunchy, but don't breathe corn nuts.
Yeah, they make your breath smell like butt, but I do think they're delicious.
Who wins in a butt breath smell contest, corn nuts or Cool Ranch Doritos? Go.
I'm going to have to say corn nuts because I don't think I've ever eaten Cool Ranch Doritos because Doritos have one flavor that is approved. Everything else is a bastard. There is
nacho cheese, presumably is the one that's approved.
Okay.
I'm guessing. What's your approved Doritos flavor?
If you were going to eat Doritos and you want the flavor of ranch, you dip it in fucking ranch.
You're not wrong.
Lazy ass fat sack of shit.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, this is gonna be hashtagged as Shawn.
I'm sorry, but
no,
we
do not apologize.
F-word 3 times relating to Brendan Fraser, and apparently we might be isolating our younger listeners. So
yeah. Oh, the dab. Okay, so yes, now comment, and subscribe because an old millennial has just given y'all a dab.
Generation Z pieces of shit. Are you happy?
There is no other way that we could possibly debase ourselves more.
No, we're doing good.
Oh.
I love all of you, whoever you are. I don't care what your age is. I was actually something came up. They were like, it was millennials versus Gen Z or some crap I was looking at. It astounds me that people have to separate. They feel it necessary to separate themselves into groups based off of when they were born.
Let's not do that.
The only time that should matter is whether or not you get a discount at Denny's for a Rudy or like a Superbird combo. Like, if you get your senior discount, that's the only frame that should matter.
I'm fond of the moons over my hammy or any kind of slam.
There you go. Fantastic. Or you go to IHOP and you get some... Like, I don't understand how people separated by a decade are, like, so in opposition to each other. I don't get it. First of all, none of you are original. I'm letting you know right now. And I say that because I'm not original. None of us are. Your little tattoos on your finger that look like mustaches are thinking that you're saving the universe by using a insulated metal bottle. Y'all could chill the fuck out with your Subarus. All I'm saying is I don't understand why everybody's focusing on everybody's differences so much. We're really not that different. We're all just a big pile of idiots piloting a meat suit supported by a calcium skeleton. It's everybody just calm down.
Bring it together. It's okay.
So if I offended you, you're a fucking child and grow up. What's the next thing we're talking about?
Oh, actually, I need to get into another sponsor. We've got 2 sponsors today. And in this particular case, the other sponsor is other podcasts.
Other podcasts.
That's right. I'm not going to name this particular podcast, but I am very fond of a podcast, which I think yesterday I was listening to. And I noticed in pulling it up, it was 37 minutes long. Okay? I fast forwarded through 6 minutes of commercials in the beginning. Okay? And then, of course,
was 37 minutes long.
Right. You see where I'm going with this. Of course, they had several probably 3 or 4 spots during the show, and then at the very end, of course, they're like, okay, so here's how you get on. So there's a few minutes lost at the end. In a 37-minute show, there was maybe 20 minutes of actual conversation. When you come to the How to Be Friends with Dave and Shawn podcast, you get 100% us from beginning to end.
So, well, here's my question. You're not going to name the podcast.
I'm not.
Definitely.
I like them.
You like them. Okay.
Yes.
So
yeah,
what
is a show about medical.
So it wasn't Sawbones.
No.
Okay.
Which is what no, it wasn't Sawbones, but now I guess we could hashtag. Okay, all right, I'll say it. Because they are really great. It was the Adam Corolla and Dr. Drew show. Now both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So
both of them are
just to clarify,
yeah.
you were listening to a really shitty podcast with
I'm
a
gonna
lot
set
of
you on
bad
fire.
stuff.
I'm gonna duct tape you to your
Are
bed
you
and
really?
set your house on fire.
You're listening to Adam Corolla.
Uh-huh.
And a somewhat kind of reputable doctor.
You know what? I'm just gonna pipe my car exhaust into your bedroom.
Please do. Try to knock me out with your bullshit exhaust.
Okay. In their defense,
which
I'm not going to defend really, because that's a lot of money.
Two people who lack so much personality that they're useless individually and only can form an argument when put together.
Okay. So our podcast of not even 100 viewers on the last episode is apparently trying to create.
Oh, I'm going to. I have opinions. I'll share them. Adam Corolla is like his namesake. He will get you from point A to point B, but he does it as cheaply as possible, and he has to follow on the coattails of an actual fucking doctor to make himself viable that anybody would listen to him.
Okay, I actually have to uphold that point. Even though Adam Corolla
I'm a comedian and I talk to a doctor and that's my point for existence. I'm sorry. That's the truth.
Shut it. Shut your mouth for a second. All Shut it.
I'm listening.
No, okay, it's valid. I love the guy, but yeah, famous for a love line. He was the comic relief to the doctor who was giving real advice. Another one of his shows that I listened to, Reasonable Doubt with Mark Garagos, who is a genuinely famous very successful attorney, again, funny guy with a very okay. You know that for those of you who want the instructions of how to be friends, this is part of it. You can disagree and be able to connect on certain things. It's okay.
Yes.
And tell your friend to shut up when you want to, because
that's okay.
Because you know the love in the heart.
There are podcasts I listen to that David wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, so
that's not even true. I would totally touch them as long as they were someone else's 10-foot pole.
Yeah. So to go back to what you were saying, who was this week's sponsor?
Other podcasts, just in general. You are getting top shelf shenanigans here at the How to Be Friends, and. In conjunction, I would also like to remind you that we were recording for you people through the damn holiday. I had another podcast who I won't actually mention, who was off for like 6 weeks for the holiday for perfectly good reasons, but still. If you want continuing content, I promise you, there's going to be a day where I'm going to pull up our recording methods on my dang phone when I'm in the field with the military, just to bring this stuff together, because this is about you and I hanging out.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm going to thank those other podcasts. First of all, I don't know why you need three brothers to do a podcast, but I love it. Thank you so much. Magic Tavern is wonderful. I'm glad you finally got back to it. Also, Jordan Jesse, Jesus fucking Christ, just go already. All right. Who's our second sponsor?
Was that English? Did you speak English?
That was. Yes.
That's it. I mean, unless I want to burn through other sponsors.
I don't know. Jordan and Jesse have been going for like 600 episodes now, I think. So.
Oh, that's a podcast. Okay.
That is a podcast.
J and J together. Isn't that adorable?
Is it Squarespace? Is Squarespace our second sponsor?
No. What? They would actually give us money if that was them. We don't.
Oh shit.
Nobody's giving us money.
Who are the people with the mattresses? Aren't there like a couple of companies with the mattresses?
Oh, good gravy.
There's like
Yeah.
2 mattress companies, 3 shaving companies. There's 2 internet website companies.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually a funny topic. Tell me if you haven't heard this from nearly every podcast. Okay. ExpressVPN comes up all the damn time.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Which, by the way, any of you guys that want to pay us, I mean, you're welcome to our 100 viewers.
Also, good luck with your VPN.
They're gonna find you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear Black Rifle Coffee all the damn time, all over the place.
Black Rifle Company, Black Rifle Coffee, the official sponsor of Right Wing Podcasts.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I hear a few mattresses, but I'm now overwhelmed by the delicious irony of getting distracted by the fact that other podcasts are belabored with sponsors, and we don't have a single one.
Right. That's because I'm belabored with 2 full-time jobs.
Correct.
So, hey, but I'll still take your sponsorship, because if you want to send me like a bag of coffee, while supporting Kyle Rittenhouse, I just love coffee. I love coffee.
I don't drink the damn coffee at all.
Yeah, you don't drink coffee, but you sleep, right?
I do. Sometimes.
David, when's the last time you had a good night's sleep?
Oh my God. Last night actually was pretty good.
David, I am so glad to hear that, because this week's sponsor is D's Nuts. D's Nuts provide you with a wonderful night's sleep supported by 7 different systems that help dissipate your weight throughout your body. D's Nuts are assuredly going to help you sleep better. Go to dsnuts.biz/dsnuts/how to be friends with Shawn and David to receive 10% off D's Nuts. That's how I feel about sponsorship.
You got that backwards. You know what? The only sponsor we're going to get now is a wine company.
You know what? That's the sad part. At least 3 of the Now, and I want to preface this. I listened to, and I was just pulling this up, I listened to about 24 different podcasts.
Sweet baby Ray.
3 of them, at least 3 of them at any given time throughout their history have been like, hey, have you heard about Winebox?
Oh, good gravy.
Yeah. So I want to be sponsored by somebody who makes a difference in this world. British Petroleum, are you listening?
Oh my gosh. You want BP?
I have a friend whose ex-wife works for BP.
Okay, good for her, but on the flip, you need more water, homie. You gotta hydrate to avoid that hangover.
I already did my PT, and I will hydrate enough. Don't worry. It's white wine, not red wine. Anybody who's listening who understands the differences will understand. It's white wine, not red wine.
Nothing against your friend working for BP, but that stuff made my car smoke back in the day. Like, it didn't smoke. I put 1 tank of BP gas in. It smoked. It was ridiculous. I don't even
know. It's not what we would call a top-tier gasoline.
Oh, my gosh. No, I think it's the British tea in it.
It's British Petroleum, but I used to have a dinosaur as a logo, and that's why I like them.
But, now, wait a second. Isn't Sinclair still around with the dinosaur logo?
Oh, yeah, Sinclair uses the dinosaur logo. Who's the one who's been sending me checks for 3 years because they inappropriately charged me $35 or 35 cents per transaction?
Plaid Pantry?
No, Arco? Was that Arco?
Oh. Yeah, the old AM PM.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate your annual checks. Thanks for fucking up, guys.
That's kind of ridiculous, but hey.
So what are we talking about next? What are we talking about?
Gosh.
We're talking about preppers? The Princess Bride, maybe? Because preppers, really, that's a hot topic for me.
Okay.
Because y'all are fucking stupid.
I have to get to this question, actually. And this is actually a really good question that we could get into. And I'm going to try to phrase it as close as... I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to try to phrase it as close as I possibly can to the original question, which was, why is it so many Republicans have problems with gays and transgenders serving in the military? And there's a lot to unpack with this question. So you can start off wherever you like.
Dude, I don't even know where to start with that one because I personally can't think of a reason that you wouldn't want a gay or a transgender person to defend your country.
Well,
unless you're
okay.
afraid that you'll be viewed as somebody who's so weak. And this is not me speaking. Unless you're afraid of somebody who's being defended by a gay person because you yourself wouldn't step up and do it yourself. I don't know.
Right. And so that's part of what needs to be unpacked with this question is, of course, it's directed specifically at Republicans who
Which I don't think that's fair.
Right. It's been some time since Republicans as a whole were against gays in the military. So I'll harken back to the time that people were, because it wasn't exclusive to Republicans. Lest we forget, in 2008, President Barack Obama himself was officially against gay marriage. So if we're going back to a time when Republicans were against it, so were Democrats. And
there, yeah. I mean, honestly.
Right. There was an element of just kind of complicating things. Oh, yeah, you had your West Van Tuckyville people being all like, well, I want some fella look at my Peter in the shower. Yeah, there was some of that, but I
okay,
think
so, well, let's cut it down to brass tacks. When you sign on the dotted line for a check up to and including your life, you're not defending the flag. You're not defending the U.S. You're not defending whoever president is in office at the time. You are defending your fellow countrymen. Yes. And that's what it comes down to. And that's also what it comes down to when you serve. You are defending and protecting the people you are working with.
And
the
Constitution.
What?
Constitution.
Well, and the Constitution, yes. But honestly...
No.
Okay, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, bullets are flying. Yes. My thought is not the Constitution. My thought is the people in the foxhole next to me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Also valid.
If you are willing to sign on that dotted line and do laundry, or maintain a vehicle, or pick up a rifle for your fellow countrymen, that is fantastic. I don't care who you are.
You're right.
And the fact that it has been such a fight for you to do that for so long is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay. Let me jump in. Okay. Gay is not a problem. Even really transgender, not a problem. The actual problem comes with medically maintained transgenderism. Do you understand what I'm saying by that?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
However, we also have medically maintained diabetics and medically
not in the military.
People with Crohn's disease.
Not in the military.
Yes, in the military.
Name one.
I will not, because I'm not going to out her right now, but absolutely.
Well, yeah. So if you have a medical, if you become undeployable, okay. So here's what I'm defining. If you're already in and you've got a medical circumstance that makes you undeployable, they'll look at your specific case whether or not to med board you. So you can be in if you have Crohn's disease, for example. You and I have both known at least one soldier who had to be medically removed because of acute diabetes. Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm bringing this up not as a conflicting point, but if you have transitioned in such a way that you have to be medically maintained, you will not be able to join the military because the military isn't going to bring that on. You're not deployable coming in, and anyone with any condition who isn't deployable can't come into the military. And then you have this situation of, and this is valid, talking about the tax burden that might exist as well. And I'm not saying that this is a reason not to allow a person. I'm just explaining. If a person is transgender, wants to go in and wants to get their surgery, is that a burden that the U.S. taxpayer should pay for
I
by
don't.
its service?
I don't think it is a burden to perform any surgery that is elective should be to the U.S. taxpayer. I
Right.
also understand the fact that we are talking about a 6-to-1 or 6-to-8 ratio currently with U.S. military. And if you don't know what I'm talking about listening to this, that means for every one soldier on the front lines,
Mhm.
every one soldier with a rifle engaging the enemy, we are talking about 6 to 8 support personnel that are in place to make that person capable of doing their job.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
means if you, as the military, want to say you are non deployable, however, we can still utilize you in a role,
Mm-hmm.
CONUS,
Yeah.
Continental United States,
Yes.
and you can serve your country, then I 100% support that.
Absolutely. So that the answer to the question comes in just like we were saying before, try not to point at specific people as the problem
No.
in a broad swath. Don't
Yes.
say why do Republicans suck? Why do Democrats suck? Try not to do that in a broad swath. And
It
then
gets very old when we're talking about Republicans and Democrats and millennials and Gen
right,
Z.
right.
It's the equivalent of me saying, "What's your favorite color?" and you answer green, and then I say, "Well, you're a greenist."
Right.
Trying to take one aspect and define an entire group or a person by that one aspect is absolutely ridiculous.
Right. And then, of course, let us not consider specific policy decisions as necessarily the reflected opinion of person. Because I'm just like you, a transgender person, a gay person, a service dog, whatever. I don't care who I'm serving with. I
And
care that you're
just to and understand David's argument right here, he did not just compare two different types of individuals to service dogs,
thank you. Yes, yeah.
because that will
Unfortunately,
be
that's yes.
misconstrued real fast.
I'm just hitting different categories. The
Right.
point of it is, of course, I don't care who you are, what you do with your life. I care whether or not you're a good soldier. I've had some,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
You and I have both served with some amazing people. The vast majority of them really cool. You and I have served with some real pieces of garbage that we have made every effort to try to get out of our military as
Absolutely. And
well.
I will say that a majority of the pieces of garbage we served with are straight functional white males.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give you that.
Yes. So you cannot put people in a box.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So,
Even though it supports the narrative that the white man is the bad guy, and this it's we're gonna have to scrap this whole damn no.
no. First of all, everybody's the bad guy. We all are.
Ooh, well said. Well said.
The truth is, even if you don't think you're racist, even if you don't think you have bias, there is a subconscious bias that exists in all of us. And until we acknowledge that
Yes.
and face it,
Yes.
we're garbage.
Yeah.
I
And
try to
that's
do that every day, but the truth is that we all do have that subconscious bias. And until we actually focus on it and attack it, it's going to stick.
no,
But,
absolutely.
but if your name used to be Gary and now it's Janie,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to treat injured patients alongside me as a combat medic, then I 100% invite you. And I
Yes.
hope that we can depend on each other. And if your name used to be Gary and your name is Jenny and you are a piece of shit shower shoe samurai, then I don't hate you because you're transgendered. I hate you because you're a lazy piece of crap soldier.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Fair
Which
enough?
which brings us to another valid point is that don't don't automatically assume the worst of malice of people if they don't like you.
Yeah,
Don't
I
assume
don't like anyone. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or I don't like you specifically. I honestly, by default, don't like people.
that's okay.
And that's fine. Don't,
Right.
yeah.
I admire the people who can go out and just automatically make friends. I run into this funny thing with, okay, getting back to just starting martial arts again. the people that I'm going with are incredibly good at making friends. Meanwhile, I admire that. Meanwhile, I will meet new people and they will stick that hand out for a handshake, and I'm still like, let's if fist bump. And I had one person do that. The hand went
Yeah.
on the
No.
fist.
Yeah. It's one thing that my wife and I have never ever agreed on.
Right?
And my wife, by default, views you as a friend until you prove otherwise.
Which is beautiful.
I don't know how she does it. She
Right.
has the belief system of a freaking 8-year-old. I don't get it. Everyone is wonderful.
Right.
I require that you prove you're not a piece of crap before I can take you at your word. And it is something that we have never agreed on. People who easily make friends, I have never understood that.
And I'm sure you've seen this about me. I'm somewhere in between, Shawn, in the regard that I genuinely love people out of the gate. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I'll help a person, I'll smile at a person, whomever you are. However, I'm not going to be your friend or talk to you right away either.
Right. Whereas, yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's almost like everyone you meet is a coworker.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that's a really good way to do that. We're all on this planet Earth together, and so I kind of just I share the love, but I need my me time, and I don't need. Mm-mm.
Maybe it was the way I was raised. It was shake their hand with your right and hold your knife behind your back with your left. Just assume that everyone turns on you. And it's probably not the best way to approach a new situation. Don't get me wrong. It's a very cautious, withdrawn approach. But it does tend to lead in the long run to less disappointment and less damage.
And how very General Mattis of you. How very be polite, be courteous, but have a plan to kill everyone in the room of you.
It was funny. I was just trying to think of who it was. Mattis who said that to that delegation, right?
He was okay.
I
So
come to you
apparently,
with my heart in my hand, but if you betray me, I swear to God, I'll kill everyone in this room. It was something like that.
so apparently he was very fond of this. The first quote was what he was teaching his Marines going into Iraq, which I think is great advice for warfare. Be polite, be courteous, but have a plan to kill everyone that you meet. And then later on, yeah, apparently it was associated to a meeting that he was in as well, which honestly probably applies pretty well to business.
I would think so. Yes. Yeah, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet. That's
Okay.
what he advised his Marines in Iraq to stay vigilant. In that vein, he also once said there is only one retirement plan for terrorists.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But it is also probably why I have 3 friends I can count on both hands. So, it's a trade-off.
Now I'm jealous of 2 other people.
Shh. Don't be. You're number 1.
Oh, with a gigantic finger. Okay, so so we're running right up to the end here, and I really want to hit this point because I love the hell out of my kids and do my very best to raise them right, best I can. I only get just so much time with them, and I maximize the heck out of it wherever I possibly can. Shawn, why should kids play in the dark?
I don't know.
You don't know. According to National Geographic.
Were you able to get into the website?
Scary fun. Why kids should play in the dark. Nighttime games can liven up the long winter nights and maybe boost mental health. You were not able to look at this?
I wasn't able. I really wanted to read it. This is what I told you about last week. I said the National Geographic ones I couldn't get into because they wanted me to subscribe, and I don't have that kind of money.
No, humorously, I also got the subscribe as well. But it brings up a greater point that it doesn't surprise me at all that Apparently, if you have a subscription to National Geographic, you can go find out about how playing in the dark and cold and so forth can
It,
improve the.
yeah,
Hey,
it will
guess
actually,
yeah.
it will let me now that I'm on my computer. But the truth is, what it comes down to, basically, essentially, this entire story is that by being exposed to something that is outside of their comfort zone, it helps advance their different skill set.
Yes.
So problem solving, things like that. And it's absolutely true.
It's
So
absolutely good.
yes. One of the things that I've always told my kids, and both of my kids go to sleep in pitch black rooms.
Hmm.
Um, I have explained to them that there is no difference between the light and the dark. It is only how they perceive it, and that they shouldn't be afraid of the dark. And
Right.
my Keith,
Uh-huh.
I have he goes to sleep in the dark because I've told him that the key to being in the dark is being the scariest thing in the dark. So
I believe
I repeatedly have told him, do not be afraid of the dark. Make things in the dark afraid of you.
I I'm not I'm not making light of PTSD by any means, but my Sam while playing a video game was like, you can't have PTSD if you're the source of the trauma.
They're right,
Damn,
exactly.
dude.
So
I don't want those.
in this article, they say, so as the brain develops, playing in the dark can feel a lot less scary and even ride the line between frightening and fun. It's very good at varying our responses to threat based on the proximity and seriousness of the threat.
Right.
So when you're dealing with a threat that's unlikely to be really dangerous or sort of ambiguous, you'll get a smaller response from the amygdala. Basically, what this is saying is that exposure to the unknown helps develop the different processes that help us with coping in our brain.
Right.
And yeah, absolutely.
In this
Let your kids
modern,
play in the dark and get them used to the dark.
yes, in this modern world of anxiety, which is real, in this modern world of a lot of emotional problems, it helps to have those scary experiences because we can't. I was speaking to someone about this. We can't logically say to ourselves in a situation of anxiety, is anything right now actually going to kill me? That's kind of the problem with anxiety, is because you can't pull yourself into a rational state. But if you've already had enough scary experiences, you will start, like the article's talking about, rebuilding your brain in such a way that you can kind of pull yourself through the rough parts.
Yes, absolutely.
And we want that for people. Like,
Absolutely.
we're a couple of jokers, we're a couple of goobers, but we'd like happiness for everyone.
And we
It,
have also both experienced some really dark stuff and can tell you that
it doesn't kill you.
no. And comparatively, I can tackle my anxiety because of those things that I've experienced. It helps me put things in perspective. So
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
worth exposing yourself. Ooh,
Hmm.
I don't know. I like the phrasing
Mm,
on that. It is worth letting yourself experience things that make you
yes.
uncomfortable because they can help put things in perspective. And if you have children and have the opportunity, do that for them in a safe manner, and it will pay off in dividends, especially when
Yeah.
you're trying to get your kids to sleep.
Do every dang thing that you possibly can with your kids. And it's tough right now with everything shut down, at least still here in the Northwest. I understand that, but
I
um,
just played 2 hours of Mario Party with my kids. There's nothing else we could do this afternoon, but we
which,
played Mario Party for 2 hours.
which character did you use?
The little Koopa,
Oh,
the
that's
little
ridiculous.
green
That's
Koopa guy, and then Keith used Bones,
uh-huh, dry
and
bones.
then yeah, Dry Bones, and then
Uh-huh.
Piper used what's the Blue Princess? Gosh darn it,
Blue Princess. We're not talking about Daisy. We're talking about.
the one that floats.
Oh, you're talking about Rosalina.
She used La Rosalina, and my 4-year-old daughter beat us in 2 rounds with the computer AI. So
That's sad. It's sad.
don't use Dry Bones or Koopa. Don't do it.
Because that matters.
Apparently, wink.
Yeah. Okay, we are coming to the end. I really would like to thank everyone who has started tuning into this podcast. Not only did the last episode have a bunch more views than we're used to, but a lot longer viewership as well. So anyone that's listening, thank you so very much. We will actually genuinely continue to try to give you the goodness and apparently cuss more.
Yeah, I honestly
No.
think we were trying to be family friendly in the beginning, but honestly, I think maybe it was just too, I don't know, maybe it felt forced.
No, we're gonna cuss less. That was a lot of cussing,
Oh,
Shawn.
I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Next week, no cussing.
Well, no, that's
Next
our
week,
final.
less cussing.
That's the final point of this podcast. We don't have to go to extremes. Happiness is in the middle.
Happiness is with the friggin', not the effing.
All right, so I have been Dave.
I'm Shawn.
I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and everyone listening, I hope that you have been enriched by the word fuck.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.